D-Lab Electronics presents Tech Tips on the Kalamazoo 2 guitar amp.
It's Terry from D-Lab, and I have a tech tip for you when you're repairing the Kalamazoo Model 2 amplifier. Alright, so this amp came to the shop to simply have a 3-prong grounded type power cord installed because the owner said he got shocked, which is typical for that old 2-conductor AC cord, right? So I thought, okay, we'll change that, and while I'm in there, let's give it an inspection, and look what I found. So I've already removed the rear cover to inspect the amp, and what did I find? The old paper filter capacitor. This was a 3-section cap, but what alarmed me is I saw this red wire hanging in the breeze, and what do we have here? Yep, a cap that was tagged in because obviously this section failed. Here's the tech tip, guys. If this cap is old enough for that section to fail, don't change one, change all 3 and get it out of there because the other sections are right behind it. So you'll be back in here changing the caps, right? Do it right the first time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull this out. I'm going to land a terminal board. We're going to put 3 fresh caps in the Kalamazoo and retest it. Also need to change out the power cord. So this hole here will become a little bit bigger. We'll bring in the new cord, solder the ground direct to the chassis. Now to get this chassis out, it's a little bit tricky. There's 4 screws, as you can see here, on the sides. And you have to desolder the speaker because they did not use a plug. So be careful when you do that not to damage that old vintage Jensen, I believe. So to remove the mounting screws, there's nuts underneath, and a nut driver will easily access them, okay? Don't try to take a screwdriver and go at an angle or you're just gonna tear it up. I got her loose. Speaker wires are unsoldered. Chassis slides right out. The other thing that we're going to do is remove the depth cap. Okay, so let's get it out of here, get the line cord mounted, get our grounds taken care of, land my terminal strip, and get the caps in. Oh, by the way, there's one other cap that you need to replace. It's this little guy right here. It's an electrolytic. That's a 10 microfarad. It goes to the tremolo circuit. Don't forget to change that. It's an electrolytic like the rest of them, and when that fails, your tremolo dies. So for the filter cap, I'm just going to cut these leads off. That's your ground. Red was the highest capacitance, which I believe is 20 microfarads, and these other 2 are 10s. If you have any questions about that, there's actually a schematic right inside the cabinet you can refer to. Okay, so now that that's cut, I'm going to take a Dremel tool and I'm going to cut off that pop rivet, get that thing out of my way. Ground the head off that pop rivet. Cap should swing right out of there. Maybe. You always got to fight me, especially when I'm shooting video. Anyway. Alright, so now I need to get the rest of that pop rivet out of there. We're going to put a terminal strip here. I got the pop rivet out. Now I'm going to clean up this area. I'm going to mount the new terminal strip, and then I'm going to solder the ground tab direct to the chassis. There's our terminal strip. The ground's soldered. I'm going to go ahead and get this line cord out of my way. And the depth cap's coming out. What I'm going to do is when I bring in the new grounded power cord, it'll terminate here like this one does, but we'll use this for our ground. We're ready to solder in the new power cord. Reuse that ground lug. Hot's over here going through the fuse. And the other side, the AC cord goes through the switch on the back of that pot. Alright, let's move on to the filter caps. Alright, a note on the filter cap installation. This black lead used to be the ground lead or the negative lead that went to that old filter cap. If you follow this brown wire, comes up here, goes over here, shoots over here, and goes to the grounds of your audio input jacks. Okay, so this is just chassis ground, just a weird way of getting there. So what I'm going to utilize are the grounds on the terminal board. So all my caps will go to this ground, and I will not be using that black wire. Capacitor installation is complete. You can see our new little cluster here on the terminal board. So the caps I ended up using, this is a 47 microfarad at 450, and these are both 22 microfarad at 400 volts. I also took the center tap of the power transformer, which was also landed over here on this tube socket. I didn't like that. I landed that to the same ground that the filter caps share to keep the power supply in this area. I also changed that tremolo cap. We're ready to test. So I'm going to give it a quick test before I hook the speaker back up. Chassis is loose right now. I have my leader audio generator. We're using the D-Lab audio test set instead of the speaker, monitoring with the scope. Let's take a look at our sine wave. Looks good. All kinds of gain. Easy 5 watts of power. Let's take a look at our tremolo. Oh yeah, she's working. Tone works. Good to go. Let's get the speaker hooked up. Well, there's what we ended up with. I did put some adhesive on the new filter caps. There's the old components that came out, and of course we have a new power cord. So the Kalamazoo 2 is ready to rock again. Alright, so what a fun repair that was. A lot of good tech tips involved in working on these little amps, right? So I hope you got something out of it. Yeah, I'm still in my church clothes because I got home and I was like, Marcia, I've got to get out there and get some of these repairs complete. I've got like months of backlog. So I know a lot of you guys have been emailing me with these other projects, some off the wall stuff, and I just can't accept it right now. I've got to get these amps and these other repairs out of the way first. So bear with me, guys.